Hello friends, this video demonstrates how to interact with MySQL databases using JSP. It's a very simple video where I'll be inserting some values to MySQL database using this form.html file. Once after inserting those values from HTML form to the MySQL database, I'll use report.html file to extract those values back from MySQL database to HTML file. Okay, I'll show you how this form.html file looks like. So we have the following fields. We already had an EMP table in MySQL database. I'll enter the name of the employee and the department to which he or she belongs to. And as soon as I press save the employee details, then I'll be redirecting to form.jsp file, which will collect those two parameters, name and department, from the form.html and submits those data to the MySQL database. It's the responsibility of form.jsp to collect the information from form.html file and to store those details in MySQL table, the table called as EMP. Okay, just have a small look at form.jsp file. This is a simple JSP file. We need to import these packages: Java x.sql, Java IO, x.solid, as well as solid.http. These packages we need to import. Once after importing, these are the lines that are used to establish the connection and to create a statement. Okay. So in case if you have a readily available solid program, then you can very easily convert that program to JSP file. And in case if you do not have any program, you can simply write this code. These lines are used to establish the connection and to create a statement. Okay. So I'm using a database called as test, in which expecting that EMP table is already available, I'm inserting these two values, ename and dept. Okay, whatever the values that I get from HTML, I am storing in variables called as x and y, like ename and dept. Okay, these ename and dept are the names that I have given for form fields in the HTML file. Once after getting values to in x and y respectively, I'll store those values in EMP table. The statement will successfully store the values into EMP table, and then we'll execute that SQL query. Okay, once after record has been successfully inserted into the table, in case if I wanted to insert the second record, I'm having a request dispatcher here. So I'll be without going to form.html again, whatever the content of form.html file, in case if I wanted to reinsert one more value, then I need form.html in the current page, means I'll use request dispatcher include method, so as to get that form.html file's output on the same JSP file, JSP page. Okay, this is a simple program. It doesn't have not more than 15 or 20 lines. Okay, it's not a matter that you can copy this code right from here in case if you wanted to test the example. Okay, now we'll see how this report.html file looks like. In the report.html file, I have taken only one field. That field is nothing but the department name. You see here, enter department name to list the employee details. So in case if you have entered the employee names and department names, and in case if I wanted to see the all employee names of a particular department, then I'll type simply here, it can be anything like CSC. If I press get an EMP details, then all the employees who belongs to CSC have to come, they should be displayed on the web page itself. Okay, it's a simple SQL statement, select start from EMP where dept name equals to CSC. It's a simple SQL statement that have to be executed. Okay, that should be executed when this button is pressed. So as soon as I press this button, the request will be redirected to report.jsp file. Now we'll look at this file, how this looks like. As in the way I told in form.jsp, we need to import these packages which are required, and then we'll get a statement, simple statement, employee details. These are the statements that are required to establish the connection. All the statements are very much similar to the statements that whatever we have seen in the form.jsp file. Okay, once after creating the connection successfully, now we are providing a department name from HTML file. the field name in HTML file, that is report.html file, is dept, that I am storing in a variable called as z. Once after getting that value, in case if it is CSE, then I need to execute this statement like this. Select star from emp where dept equals to z, because z has the value of some department name that is provided during entering the value in the report.html file. Okay, and then I have used a result set. In case if you are aware of row set objects, you can also use row set object. Using result set, I am executing this query SQL. So the result will be coming to the result set rs. Okay, using a simple iterator, while iterator, in case there can be any number of employees in a particular department, using this while statement, as long as there exists a row, I am printing those values. Okay, what are the values that I know very well that a EMP table has only two columns. One is name and other is dept. So according to the number of columns I have, I am extracting those details. I know that there are only two columns, so I've used two variables here, ename and dept. So every time I extract one row of information successfully, I am displaying it on the web page itself. Okay, so this page is also very much similar to form.jsp. It is report.jsp. It is very much similar to form.jsp. The only thing is that in form.jsp we have inserted values. Here we are extracting the values. Nothing more than that. Very simple. Okay, right. So very simple. 4 files we have. One is form.html, report.html, form.jsp, report.jsp. Now let's see the execution. Before I show you the execution, you should know one thing, that in order to interact with MySQL database, MySQL -connector.jar file should be available in your Tomcat. For an example, this is my Tomcat directory in my machine, Apache Tomcat. Okay, in library, this file, MySQL -connector.jar file. The version can be anything, but this jar file should be available in Apache Tomcat slip. Okay, because during execution, your JSP file or servlet file will have to be linked to this jar file, because all those connections whatever we have used, which are purely based on MySQL database. Okay, class.forName, we have given some URL in both the cases of form.jsp and report.jsp. That class name is available in this jar file only. So all drivers that are required to get successful connection are based on this jar file. So make sure your Tomcat library has this connector file, connector.jar file. And also you need to set the class path, because if you do a simple copy, your computer cannot understand the change that you have made. So you need to set the class path, that where exactly that file is available, this jar file is available. Okay, in case of Windows, go to My Computer Properties, Environment Variables, set the class path to this particular file. And in case of Ubuntu, and you can edit the environment file which is available in etc. There you can set the class path. Okay, in case if you do not know how to set class paths and what all I am talking about, then you can watch my previous videos that are available, which are based on Servlet, Jdbc and everything. Okay, you can watch those things in which I have given a clear explanation about how to set class paths, what are these jar files, how to set them in case of Ubuntu or in case of Windows. I've discussed them. Okay, please follow those videos and instructions during the demo, during experimenting yourself. Right now our application is ready to deploy. That I already had this JSP Jdbc. In this folder I have these 4 files. Okay, as this is not a servlet, it's a complete application is based on JSP. We can directly, we need not to, there is no headache of creating web.xml file or webin folder, because it's JSP, it's a text file. When compared to servlet, it is very simple to deploy. Okay, just you copy this folder, and in case Tomcat is available in your own machine, then go to web apps folder and there you paste it. Okay, in my case JSP Jdbc folder is already available. These 4 files I have deployed in Apache Tomcat. But in case Apache Tomcat is not available in your machine, and in case if you wanted to connect to some other machine where Apache Tomcat is running, then you have to create a WebArchive file. Alright, now we'll see the execution. before we see the execution, let me show you the EMP table in MySQL database. Okay, I am using the database called as test. Okay, here EMP table is already available. So let's start from EMP. It's an empty set. Let me describe the data types of EMP table. I have two columns. One is name and DEPT. Okay, when I enter values from HTML, this table should fill with values, and from the same table, those values can be extracted from report.jsp file. Okay. Now we'll see the execution. My Tomcat is already running in localhost, so I'll directly connect to the localhost. Localhost 8080 JSP Jdbc form.html. Okay, JSP Jdbc is a folder name. Right, here we got enter EMP details to store in the EMP table in MySQL database. Right, let's enter some values. Such in CSC department. Save employee details. Now we have redirected to form.jsp. Our execution is successful because form.jsp has successfully showed the information that record successfully inserted. And then we again got using request dispatcher. We got this form.html's outcome here itself using request dispatchers include method. Right, let's insert one more value. Rohit CSC. Some other department called as IT. Okay. Now I have inserted 3 records into the EMP table. Now let's check whether these records are successfully came to the table or not. Okay, so let's start from EMP. Right. Information is successfully inserted into the table. Now let's see reporting. Report.html. Here I'll enter some department name. Enter department name to list the employee details. I'll enter some department name. Let the department name be CSC. Okay, so before I press, you see the things that there are 2 persons who belongs to CSC, Sachin and Rohit. Let's see whether we will be able to see the same information or not. Right, Sachin and CSC. We got it. Beautiful. So it's a very simple example, right? Okay, these kind of examples can be done using JSP because wherever you are using large amount of HTML than Java coding, then it's better to go with the JSP because editing is very simple. In case of servlet, if Java logic is very small and if you have large amount of HTML, you should not go for servlet programming because it's a hectic thing that you need to recompile your program every time because servlet is a Java class file. Alright, I hope this video helps you in case if you wanted to do some experiments JSP that is connected to MySQL. Thank you. Bye.